Pennsylvania.
Okay, this is a really cool speaker that I didn't get the sweet spot at the last time in Expona, but this is.
How often do you need to do that?
Sometimes 6 months go by, and then sometimes we have new feature in 2 months. So I would say on the average of two updates a year, or sometimes 3. But you don't even have to. We have some people who know them for a while, and after a year and a half they say, "Oh, I'm ready," and then we get them. They get all the way to the latest version, and they get an email with all the new features that appeared.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Automatically?
Well, the features appear on the iPad, yes. But we have many features that didn't exist a year ago or a few years ago. I'm most proud of this feature. We had a complaint from a Japanese customer who said, "Oh, why didn't you?" He has we have a clock in, clock out. Strictly speaking, you should put a 75 ohm terminator, which you can buy from Radio Shack. Radio Shack has gone up. Yeah, look, but we don't ship it. We don't ship cables with it. He complained that you should have added a terminator for the clock, and I said, I never bought something. So I said, I'll tell you what, we're going to respond to this guy. We spent, his buddy and I spent about 2 weeks going over it, and we found a way to add, without changing anything, to switch to 75 ohm termination remotely, not remotely, through the iPad. We reprogrammed the iPad, and right here you can put the termination on. That puts effectively 75 ohm on that part of the circuit, and all software. We just sent
virtual plug.
Yeah, and he was very impressed. So yeah, we can. Everything is done through the software. Right here you can see the advanced. There is here you can remote access to tech support. If you click on connect, it allows us to get to the machine and reprogram it, fix any issues, do quality testing.
Where is we? In Princeton?
Princeton, yes. And then this button, finish remote update, it will finish. It will get the update done.
Wow.
So it's all it's like 21st century. You don't. It's all internet driven.
You write the code?
I wrote every single line of the code. Yes.
Really?
Yes. I have some of the code gets translated to C by my students because I know writing C. But everything, all the program. I also designed this. So I allowed myself to design. This is kind of a retro design. It's like a submarine launcher. You know. But yes, I enjoy doing that. That's my.
Is it all? Do you have it all trademarked and?
Yes, yeah. The Bach is trademarked by Princeton University. Patents protect all the technology. We have a headphones technology which I haven't mentioned yet, and you got to experience it. But the headphones technology, you get to make a measurement like the one we did, and then turn off your speakers, put the headphones on, and you hear as if your speakers are there. You cannot tell the difference. So
the first time you put them on, you rip the headphones off to
right.
say,
Just so
This can't be real.
Can be real? And so people use it for many. A lot of our customers have that. They use that technology, which is patented by us, to listen to the music when their wife is sleeping next to them, or next door room, or their neighbors, or
where the baby.
Or the baby. That's right. You can shake the walls without the speakers, but. And we do it differently than other Smith Realizer emulate speakers that we do, but we actually emulate speakers in 3 dimension, the 3-dimensional sound, like Bach filtered speakers. So we emulate speakers to give you the same experience that you just got, but with headphones.
You turn your head and the soundstage doesn't move.
That's right, because we track your head rotation. So when you turn your head, the soundstage stays fixed in space, and that's important for the illusion.
Yes, it is. No, that's really
because if you turn your head with headphones, the soundstage turns with you, and your brain knows that's not what happens in real life. So we need to stop the illusion of the soundstage turning with you, and we do that with head tracking.
PJ, I'll say one thing here that sort of relates to marketing and exhibiting. A dynamic I noticed the first time I met Edgar was that if you co-exhibit with somebody, they get a little bit miffed because all the interest is in Bach because there's so much novel technology here. So I was sort of happy that Edgar made the decision to be here by himself.
Yeah, this is the first time we do this show by ourselves. In the past we had a deal to do that show. In Munich now, also for the first time, we had our own room recently. So that's a very important advice because you're right. I mean, we love teaming up. David Jansen is one of my closest friends in audio. I have a lot of admiration for him. So I did that with him in Expona. That worked out nicely, but still, we don't like to take attention, from his product. So I would leave room for, every half an hour to get him to demonstrate. But we decided, I think Andy's advice was very good on the mark this year. We decided just to give the product its own exposure, especially right now that it's getting, appreciated in the press. And
Well, I'm starting to have a lot of ideas, and it has nothing to do with the monitoring device in front of me. But I'm much more enthused and, yeah, I'm impressed.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I do want to start making
you
it
let it
more
sink in,
conscious, my consciousness.
Yes.
Because I have some questions, but I'd like to make them cogent.
Sure. Yeah,
As my father used to say, make a list.
make a list, and we're there.
Yeah.
And sometimes things have to sink in, and
Because I was very skeptical when I came in this morning.
quite a few people are when they come in. 3D.
Well, with my
Because the word
experience
3D,
with-
audio has been beaten to death,
Well, the DEX experiment, it was like they only
Yes.
went halfway, and then, various reasons, didn't go any further. So, not to say that that's the
Of course, no,
criteria.
I respect a lot of approaches. I mean, I also see the value of surround sound. And he knows how I started with surround sound with Quadraphonic when I was a kid. And I was the first in the block, so to speak, at home to get 5.1 in my house for many years. So I think different approaches to get your pleasure out of spatial sound are all valid. This approach is probably, it's arguably, of course, I believe so, a lot of people is the most natural because you're getting the right cues. It might not get to the back envelopment of when you put back speakers on, and we're still improving that. We can get it to work, but if you have very good, you can get surround sound emulation to work, but if you really absorb the reflections in your room and if you measure your head, it's still a pretty advanced, tweaky product. But comparing this to 5.1, Andy is the expert. He's well-known expert on the surround sound channel, and his review does the comparison. So I'll let.
But this is a needle for a marketing salesperson to thread, understanding that this is not an attempt, and it does some things that multi-channel cannot do. And it does it with 80% of the two-channel recordings that are out there.
Yes.
Right, which is perfect because there's, you have people that they say, okay, it's surround, so therefore it's just application. And you have performance, which is two-channel.
That's right.
So we need to dissolve that line and show everybody that everybody can have something.
That's
I
right.
think.
Yes.
It's just my